Good morning and welcome to the vlog in which I meet Ann Patchett again. So I went to her bookstore like 2 times, technically 3, but that's a long story. And then I met her dog at the bookstore. Then I met her in Petoskey for Commonwealth. And now I will meet her again, but in between she mailed me a postcard telling me that she was about to start writing a book that is set in northern Michigan. And hello, that's the book that just came out, Tom Lake. So I'm so excited to see her and to thank her for the postcard.
Where the book is happening for me and where it started, and so it's really important. I feel slightly sick to write this in your book. I got in so much trouble.
Guys, I am freaking out. So I just met Ann Patchett, which obviously was amazing. It was my second time meeting her, and I also met her dog before. However, Ann has a rule that she blames on COVID, which is such a lie because she did this before COVID. She does not want people touching her. And she's very strict about that and very upfront with setting her boundaries, which I love. What a strong woman, right? Okay, well, we can take pictures like of her, but we can't take pictures with her until Matt, the owner of McLean and Eakin, took my phone and took a picture of Anne and I together. Like nobody else. He didn't do that for anybody else, or at least he didn't do that with anybody that I saw. Like, that's not allowed. And it just made like my entire life like, oh, so special. And also I showed Anne the postcard that she wrote me saying that she was going to start writing this book, and that meant so much to her as well, that I kept that and that it meant so much to me. Editing Karen here, I've been thinking about how much that postcard also meant to Anne. And I think that it is just that she said she was gonna do something. And she did it, and it's here. And not only is it here, but she's on book tour for it right now. And I think that was really cool to see her past self kind of setting this intention for what would happen in the future. And then now we are basically in the future. So anyway, now I'm just on a mega high, and I am going to drive to my hotel. So basically today I've been spending the day in Petoskey, but that's actually not where I'm staying. And the reason for that is, one, hotels are super expensive here during the summer. But also I've been to Petoskey so freaking many times. And once I've made my stop to the bookstore, okay, like that's good enough. Now I'm gonna go to another town, spend the night in a town that is new to me, and it's about an hour away. It's partially on the way home, so that will help as well. And then tomorrow I can explore a new town. Okay, so this is my first time staying in a true hotel, and I'll just show you around my room because it is so cute and so cozy. All right, so this is it. This is like a little wardrobe area. And then a mini fridge, and then the bed, a tiny desk, and then the TV like welcomes you. All right, and then this is the bathroom. Oh my gosh, it's so cute in here. Okay, you guys, so let's talk about all the things that Jessalyn and her team made me buy at McLean and Eakin. So I went in basically wanting like baby horror or messed up psychological. I basically had a list of books that I've read in the past year, loved, that I felt had kind of unsettling vibes or were kind of creepy. And so that's what I went with. But of course, some of what I read is kind of obscure, and they did not know what the heck I was talking about, but they still nevertheless sold me books that have kind of a fall vibe, I guess. So some that I picked up by myself were actually there's only one I picked up by myself, and that is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Now I know that everyone has talked about this and read it years ago, but I've not gotten to it. And I was actually I'm doing a buddy read with Brie, and so I went and checked her channel for like previous videos that she made of like kind of spooky season recommendations, and she absolutely loved this one. So I thought I would give it a try. Okay, and then the other ones. These are all the ones that Jessalyn like hand sold me. Anyway, okay, so the first one I think might have fall cozy vibes, or maybe not cozy, but it's like hilarious apparently, and that is called Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. That's really all I know, and Jessalyn said it was hilarious and she loved it. Then I got The Silent Patient, which again has been everywhere, but is not something I've gotten to yet, so I'm excited to get to that one. And then she accidentally recommended me a book that she actually didn't mean to, but when I read the blurb it sounded amazing, and that is When She Woke by Hilary Jordan. This one basically talks about a woman trying to navigate America's not too distant future, where the line between church and state has been eradicated, and convicted felons are no longer imprisoned and rehabilitated, but chromed. Their skin color is genetically altered to match the class of their crime. So I thought that sounded really cool. It's not the one she thought of that she wanted to tell me about, but yeah, I still was like, nope, I'm keeping this one. And then the last one I've actually already started to read, and I think I can finish it probably tomorrow. And that is The Last Ranger by Peter Heller. This is definitely more of a summer read because it takes place at Yellowstone, but it is basically about this ranger who kind of gets involved with some people that are like killing the wolves and killing all their animals, basically kind of like poachers. And I think it's kind of a clash between like protecting the animals and protecting himself. I don't really know, I'm not very far in yet. Basically, the part that I am at, he has a coworker who is super into wolves and like studies the wolves and all that stuff, and is more connected to animals than to humans. I have personally diagnosed her with autism, but anyway. And she has just been found like basically like caught in a bear trap. So that's where we are right now. And then I went to the event after spending some time at the park, wasting time because I was basically homeless for a bit. I was not going to buy anything at the event because I already had her book. I got it from Parnassus the day before it came out. I already read it. It was signed already. There's nothing else I need, right? Wrong. Because there's another guy there. I don't know who it was. It was not Matt. It was like a guy who works there. He sold me another book. The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. This is apparently a book of essays, which I'm obsessed with, written by a poet who basically, poets always make the best writing anyway, don't they? And this is the Book of Delights, which essentially this guy wanted to write an essay of basically anything that gave him joy over the course of the day. And so I think that each essay is a different day perhaps, and just him documenting and discussing what brought him joy that day. And that sounds absolutely amazing. And then we get to the star of the show, Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. As I have said, I already owned this book. I got it from Parnassus on Monday. It came out on Tuesday. I already read it like a hot second later. Jessalyn stole my copy of Tom Lake and instead gave me a fresh copy because she said that Anne wouldn't want to like add my name to something she had already signed. She wanted to like start fresh. So basically I wrote my name on a sticky note, as you do. If you are familiar with author events, this is just the norm. And then you get your book ready and you turn to the page where the author is going to sign it. And so she didn't just write to Karen. Nah, that's too simple. Basically, I showed her that postcard that I have told you guys about, which is where she basically told me about Tom Lake before she even started writing it. And I showed it to her, and it was like, I just told her how much it meant to me that she wrote me that, and how special it was to know about Tom Lake before it was even like created, really. And she found that it was special to her as well. You know, like I think it's all one-sided about how much it meant to me, but it meant a lot to her also that I brought it to the event. And so she says, to Karen, thank you for saving that postcard about the future, Ann Patchett. And then she dated it. So that's super cool. And then obviously I brought the postcard, which says, thank you for your lovely card. Sustained by books more or less describes my life as well. The next book I'm going to write any day now is set in Michigan, so my mind is very much a near part of the world. I'm so glad you liked these precious days. It means a lot. Happy 2022, yours. And this was sent in December of 2021. And then today she added, wow, and put today's well, not today's date necessarily, but the month and the year. So that was cool. And then Sparky is on the postcard, who I met long before I met Anne. Hey everyone, it's Karen. I just got home like literally minutes ago. I'm in the middle of painting my nails, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit of like a few fun facts basically from last night, and then show you 2 more books that I got today when I was in Gaylord. So one thing that I thought was really cool that Anne said is she was talking about the titles for her books, at least like the books that she has written since becoming a bookseller, because obviously being a bookseller has kind of changed the way that she thinks about books. And so she said that she likes to use nouns. So for example, the Dutch House, it's obviously a noun, and it's just short. It's pretty easy to remember. And the reason she picked the Dutch House as opposed to another nationality is because Dutch and house have the same number of letters, and she just thought that it looked nice. So that is some information about what goes into a title. As far as Tom Lake, again, it is a noun, and they're both short words, but this book focuses a lot about the play Our Town. And if you notice, R has 3 letters and town has 4 letters. And so it's like kind of like symbolic that Tom Lake has the same number of letters as Our Town. I was interested in the audiobook because obviously Meryl Streep reads it, and I basically have read the book myself in a hybrid fashion, mostly reading myself, but sometimes listening. And then on the way there and on the way back, I have been listening to it, and I have about 4 hours left of like time number 2 of reading this book, even though it's only been out like 8 or 9 days. It's all good. And Meryl Streep is amazing, but I was just curious, like obviously like Ann Patchett is more and more famous every single year. So she's able to get like big name people to do her books. Like she had Tom Hanks, now she has Meryl Streep. So she kind of explained like how Meryl Streep got involved, and basically Meryl Streep was supposed to be in the movie version of Bel Canto like a while ago, like 15 years ago or something like that, and it ended up not working out. But her and Anne had lunch, and so Anne was like, well, like I got Tom Hanks to do this, who she actually is legit friends with, and she was kind of friendly, I guess, with Meryl Streep, like acquaintances maybe. So she's like, I'm gonna, you know, go big, go home, just see what happens. So she asked for a note to be passed along to Meryl Streep, and then her person that was connected to her was like, no, like I'll just give you her email address. So she emailed Meryl, and Meryl answered saying like yes, she would do it. And basically like she couldn't even read the book until January. Like she agreed without reading the book. She read the book in January, and then she performed it in February, and I guess like it just went really, really smoothly. Like I guess Meryl like doesn't take breaks, like she just goes straight through, and she doesn't really make mistakes. So it took, I forgot if she said like 4 days of them working on it, and that was it. Done. 4 days, done. There was one part where she said that she started crying, and that is the part where they're talking about burning the trees. It's not a spoiler because that's all I'm telling you. But yeah, that made Anne cry, and that was a part that was hard for me to read as well. Not in the way you would expect. It's just when you get there, you'll know. And she was so embarrassed that she was crying because she's like, I wrote this book. Like, why am I crying for my own book? But it was like Meryl performing it that like really made her just feel it more deeply, I guess. And Meryl was like, oh, no big deal. Like sometimes I'll put on one of my old movies and I'll cry too. Like, so that's kind of cool, I guess, to know that like Meryl watches her own movies. I know that one of the things I mentioned previously was that I could tell who the characters were named after. Like all of a sudden there's like a Rayanne, or there's like a cat or a Heather or somebody that like, those are like your sister and other people that work at the bookstore. And also she used the names of her shop dogs. And so she didn't really mention that during her chat, but she did mention how difficult it is to basically have like 30 children every single year and have to name them all, and like So yeah, I think it's a really cool tribute, I guess, that she is naming characters after people she knows in real life. What else? I also will say for my last thing that I liked this author event a lot more than the previous one. Like, it was different, right? Because for Commonwealth, I was so excited. Like, I did not eat that whole day. I ended up getting a bit drunk because I had like wine on an empty stomach at the event because I was so nervous I didn't eat the whole day. And like, when I went to this event, I was looking forward to meeting her, but like, I just wasn't as like amped up, I guess. So I just lived a normal life throughout the day before meeting her without like freaking out and stuff. And so it was different in that way, but the actual event I liked better because I felt like for Commonwealth that I could literally, like, I could have pretended to be Ann Patchett and you could have asked me the questions and I would have given you the exact same answers that she gave you. And I felt like this time she shared more about stuff that I didn't already know. Like, there were some questions that like I already knew the answer to, like, what does she like writing better, fiction or nonfiction? What does she think is easier, fiction or nonfiction? A few other things. Oh, tell me about like your connection to Renee Fleming. Already knew that. Like, there's like a lot of things in there that I already knew, but I would say overall, it was new information for me, which was fun. And I guess this just made me think of one more thing, which is this whole time I thought that Tom Lake was Interlaken, which is this place in Michigan. And like, yes, like, and no at the same time. She emphasized that Tom Lake was fictional, and she like emphasized that because she knows that we all know basically that it's Interlaken. And basically she shared that it was based on this experience of a friend, and she did go to Interlaken, but now she also runs this arts place in Traverse City. I will look up the name of it and I will put it below. So it's actually kind of a hybrid, I guess, of the two places while also being fictional, as Anne says. So that is a bit of behind the scenes info on the book, I guess. If you have any other questions, I might be able to answer them, or you might have to watch interviews with her. I don't know. I am interested to hear her speak about the book, like in places that aren't Michigan. I'm curious what she would say about it. So I might go on later and like see if she's done well, I know she's done interviews, but see what's on YouTube, I guess, for me to look at. Okay, so then when I was in Gaylord today, I did go to this indie bookstore that has only been open about 2 months. It's called Plotbound Books, and it is teeny tiny. It's just this little like cozy den, and inside it's just like exposed brick and shelves of books, and it's just so lovely. And the owner was working and she's lovely. So I just got 2 books that I thought might be good for fall weather, because even though I do not want to wish away summer, I actually saw a teacher store when I was there, which I haven't seen a teacher store in so long because they're just out of business because everyone orders stuff online. But I did not want to go in because I do not want to wish summer away. But at the same time, I'm really excited for spooky season and cozy season and all that. So the books that I picked up, first is The Curator by Owen King. And then I also got an overhyped book. We'll see if it's, well, I got a hyped book. We'll see if it's overhyped, which is Fourth Wing. I wanted to see if this would be a healthy stretch for me because this is not a book that I would normally pick up, but I wanted to see how it was and if I liked it. And excuse me, worst case scenario, I'll donate it to our library for their used book sale and they will love it. But I thought it would be fun to give it a shot. So yeah, that is the last author event that's on my calendar that was on my calendar. So we'll have to see what else comes up, see what else McLean and Eakin is offering, and what Women and Children First is offering, and just like, you know, other places that are an easy drive for me. Actually, forget it. That's a lie, because I am going to Chicago's Lit Fest in a few weeks. However, that's It's not for one specific author. That's just like a festival where there's loads of authors. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you guys soon.